Hey, 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 we are live. Just realised it's quite dark in here. So let me just turn that light on. We'll be back. There we go. How's that? That's a bit better. You can see me now. Right. So often do it in the dark evenings. How is everybody? This is live number 25. Wow. Live number 25. So, hello. Nice to see you here. Energy. So yeah, these lives are all about, hi Anne, lovely to see you too. I'm great, thank you very much. Really great. Spring has arrived and I'm really feeling it. Yeah, good vibes. Hi Sonia, nice to have you here again as well. Yeah, how are you? How are you, all of you? And where are you watching from? Just drop in the chat and let me know how you're all doing. It's always great to hear from you. And if you've got questions, please start asking them. That's what I'm here for. Yeah. And yes, you can ask me questions right now. Right now. I have not been able to keep up with my questions the last week or two because I've had COVID and it's just made me feel so tired that I'm really sorry that I haven't kept up with all the normal questions because I do try to answer every single one of you. At this time, it was just so hard. I'm getting there. So that's why please ask your questions. And hi Colorado. So I'm actually I was sitting in Germany. I'm from the UK. I live in Germany nowadays. So it's 8:30 in the evening here. Okay, let me get answering your questions. Hey Zoza. I'm pregnant 4 weeks, 5 days, and no symptoms yet. Is it normal? How do I enjoy my pregnancy after 2 previous miscarriages and a D&C? Oh, I'm sorry about your miscarriages. And you know, I've been there too, so I really know how you feel. And how do you cope with pregnancy after loss? Yeah, I get it. And I obviously went through that, and coping with pregnancy after loss is hard. It makes you anxious, it makes you worry. And like you're saying, you haven't got symptoms and you worry about it even more. Um, it's normal to feel like that. It really is normal to question everything. What I can advise you right now, Zuza, is to come and join if you're on Facebook, do let me know if you're on Facebook. I've got a group called Natural Healing After Miscarriage. So if you can find my group, come and join me. And also, if you, come and find me on the email. So when you join that group, or if you're not in that group, write me a message on my contact form or my Mama Body contact form, and I can give you some really helpful advice because I've got loads of stuff to help you. Obviously, been there myself and gone through it, and I've got loads of tips for how to overcome that anxiety and worry when you go through pregnancy after loss. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Do reach out. I have got an Ask Me actually. Down below here, if you drop down, there's a video description. I can't see it when I'm live. If you go in there, there's something called Ask Me, and you can then directly contact me and I'll get back to you, which is I'm not going to be doing it forever. I've just been doing it the last few weeks because I haven't kept up with the comments on YouTube. And so for anybody that really wanted to ask me a question in detail and my videos kind of were a bit too general for you and not answering your question directly, then go and hit that Ask Me and you'll get a direct lifeline to me. And I'm going to be answering emails for the next few weeks in detail. So yeah, make the most of it whilst it's on offer. It's completely free, so make the most of it. Okay, Simi Pal, you're watching from New Zealand. Wow, you're ahead of us, right? So you're already in the morning. What time is it there? 6 o'clock in the morning? Wow. Sonia, I'm 9 weeks pregnant, and this morning I was spotting brown. Is that normal? Okay. It's brown spotting. It's brown spotting. Okay, so I would still definitely go and ask your doctor, midwife, whoever you've got to ask, because any kind of bleeding in pregnancy, I know it's light brown bleeding, but any kind of bleeding, please, please, please go and get checked just to make sure everything's okay. Normally with light brown blood, it's a sign that it's old blood. So it's generally maybe something got nudged around and you've just released a tiny bit of womb lining, with it being that older blood. But if you ever see like bright red blood, then it's really a warning sign. But whatever, just go and get it checked, okay? Because you can look around the internet for answers and you won't find the answers that you need without getting a physical check in this case, okay? And I really wish you that everything's really great. I'm sure it will be. And keep affirming that to yourself, that you've got a healthy pregnancy, and you should be fine. Okay. Anne. Hi, Anne. I'm 10 DPO. And yesterday I had, for the second time, a pinching, pulling feeling. And the last 2 days I've been having brown spotting, and period isn't due until the 2nd of April. Wow. Okay. Well, hopefully this is you feeling your implantation, because it is still how many days until the 2nd of April? Like 4 or 5 days, isn't it? So yeah, and at 10 DPO. I always say, like, how are you measuring your ovulation? Or ask women that, because if you're using an app, it gives you kind of a general window of when you could be like fertile, when you could be ovulating. Whereas if you're using strips, they're way more accurate and you can pinpoint it better. So you know really closer how many days past ovulation you are. So then you can calculate it better. And it can take anything from like 2 days till 5, 6 days for that fertilized egg to actually reach your womb lining and implant. And if you do spot, then it's simply that implantation moving around a bit of old blood cells, or when it's actually traveling down the fallopian tube, it can do that as well. So that's when you get implantation, bleeding, or spotting. Okay, then really wishing you all the best for that, Anne. And if you feel any more symptoms than that, I've got a 12 early signs of pregnancy, which is based on my own personal early signs, because I always knew I was pregnant before any test showed positive. And so I share those signs with you, just hoping that you can maybe sense a bit more of what's going on in your body. So yeah, really wishing you all the best. Do stay in touch and let us know what happens. Okay, let's go on to J.H. Christian. I'm trying to figure out why I've been feeling sick and feeling breast pain. I've missed 2 periods, also dealing with 6 months off birth control. Is this part of that? Missed period and breast pain. Obviously, you've done tests and you've got negative tests back, I'm assuming. And yeah, it's hard to say, depending on the birth control as well. A lot of women experience like hormonal ups and downs after coming off birth control. Others don't. It just can really, really vary. And some of us, it just affects our bodies that much more. And it takes us that much longer to like find our natural balance again. And if it isn't pregnancy, then it's more of a sign of hormones or stress, because stress also plays a really big role in missed periods. And you have to maybe think about like how your moods have been as well, how you've been feeling, how your skin's looking, perhaps. Is it looking tired or drier than it normally would be? Just look for those kind of telltale signs that it could be hormonal related or stress related, and then go from there. If it's easy for you to get to the doctor and get a blood checked, then go and do that, because that will give you a clear indication of what's going on with your hormone levels. If not, then really look into things like relaxation techniques, and also you can do dieting, not dieting, but like eating in accordance with the phases of your cycle. Now, I know it's quite hard for you to know which phase of your cycle you're in right now. So go more for the relaxation techniques, I reckon, for now. And if you can get to a doctor and get a blood test, then go and do that. and wishing you all the best as well. Okay, so you're not on Facebook. Okay, and you're from Saudi. Wow, hey, 9:38. You're an hour ahead. Nice that you're on here. Yeah, so Zoza, look down here. There's a little arrow that says video description, and then you can find a way to contact me via email instead. So if you're not on Facebook, that doesn't matter. Come and find me on the email, and just give me a thumbs up that you've found that below. It's a link to Ask Me. Giselle, I do ovulate but can't get pregnant. Trying for 5 months now. Is it okay? Normal? Okay. Giselle, how are you? Obviously, you're doing everything right. You know when you're ovulating. And how are you tracking your ovulation? Are you going by natural symptoms? Are you using strips? What have you done so far? It's not always the woman if you're doing everything on time. I mean, I know it's 5 months. The first thing that doctors do when they're doing fertility checks for couples is that they ask the man to provide a sperm sample so that they can check that everything's, um, you know, properly working there before they go into all the detail of checking us ladies and our cycles and our hormone levels and giving us ultrasounds. So just giving you a little hint there. I know sometimes for the guys it's a bit of a uh, they don't want to go and get their sperm checked, but actually when my husband went to do it, he was really proud, especially when he came back with his report that he was like more, alive than ever in that area. So I guess that kind of gave him a boost at the end of it all. Hope that helps. And Sonia, you've got your first appointment tomorrow. On Monday. Okay. The brown spotting stopped. Doesn't matter. Just you go for that appointment, Sonia. Okay. I mean, you deserve to be checked, and you've got that appointment. Then go and check everything out, and get that reassurance, because I think you need that reassurance, right? And yeah, it's just going to make you feel so much better to get that proper checkup. Okay. Nikki, hi. My period is about 3 days. First and last day are light, and second day is regular bleed. Would this stop you from getting pregnant? Has it always been like that, Nikki? Like since your periods first started, or is it something that's more recent that they've become less? And there's a lot of research into that. And again, it's more like hormonal related. And depending on the type of bleeds you get and what your blood looks like, you can look into, supporting your body with the kinds of food you eat around that time. It's a really massive topic that you're probably going to be ovulating. So if you know your natural signs of ovulation, then look out for them. I have got a video about natural signs of ovulation, 5 natural signs of ovulation. Get in tune with your body and figure out when you're ovulating. Because if you are ovulating, then you can get pregnant as long as the eggs are working fine, they're healthy eggs, and you can get pregnant. And again, if you've got any questions and want to come to talk to me personally, to get a better answer, then again, look down here in the video description and go ahead and ask me, and we can chat in more detail. Denise, when do I start counting cycle day 1 if I'm spotting for a few days? Yeah, that's a good question. How many days do you spot for? And then when does it start getting heavy? So how long does it last for altogether? I mean, I personally would go from the first day of the spotting, because it is a sign that your womb lining is starting to shed. So it means that your hormones have reached that point in your cycle that they're switching and you're going into the bleeding phase. Okay, so you're menstruating at that time. I think that would be the best way to go by it. And with you, have you always spotted right at the beginning, or is it something that's happened sort of more over the years? yeah, let me know about that. There's a lot that you can do to help regulate your periods, and like really just using natural methods. There's so much to learn about our bodies and what's in there, and I will be making more videos about that because it's just so interesting, and we all should know this kind of thing. We should all learn it in school, but we don't get taught this kind of thing. Hey 13, I've learned a lot watching your videos. Just wanted to say thank you. Hey, thank you too for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. And yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to make videos that help other people. Um, Someone was asking me yesterday, how did you start? Why did you start? And yeah, so I had 7 pregnancies. 5 of them were miscarriages, and I have 2 boys now. Um, and I was really in tune with my body, so I just knew straight away that I was pregnant before, like I said before any test could show positive. And I started writing down all the different signs and symptoms I was getting. Um, and I really, even in early pregnancy, I had some really strange symptoms happening, like the stuffed up nose, the weird dreams, a really sore scalp. And then after birth, like itchy armpits when you're breastfeeding, and, you know, kind of stuff that people don't talk about much. I mean, it gets talked about a lot more on the internet nowadays because the internet is a place where you can talk about this kind of thing. But at the time, my eldest is now 8. 8 years ago, there wasn't that much stuff on the internet, and I was writing it all down because if I searched, I would get just really scary answers, and that just made me feel bad. And I wanted people to be able to feel good about themselves so that they could understand their bodies. And I thought, okay, maybe I can write a little book about it one day, which then turned into a website. And then about a year later, I made my first YouTube video, and I thought, oh, I can make a video and talk about it on the website. And then that's how the YouTube channel grew from there. And then the more questions you ask, the more I know what kind of things you're looking for. So then I can help you by answering them like live or with more videos. So it's really great that you come along and ask your questions, because then I can help you even more. And it's really nice being able to help you. Yeah. Where did we get to? Hey, JH, it has been stressful after having it removed. Definitely a lot of ups and downs. Yeah, them. That sounds like you need a bit more balance in your life. I would really, whew. um, I mean, I don't know how many of my videos you've watched, like all of you, JH, and if you've watched many of my videos where I talk about the womb healing that I do. So the womb healing is the natural energy technique. That's something that I first discovered when I was going through my own fertility journey. I was already an energy healer, but I went to lots of other healers, and I went to courses to even further deepen my healing skills. And the womb healing is just my favorite technique, because it clears out so many old energies and blockages that we hold on to as women. So our womb is our femininity. It's our feminine center. It's our core. And when we link it with our womb and our heart, when we link them together, and really go into it, we go into who we are, that person who we truly are. And I think a lot of us become very distanced from that because we only really start paying our womb attention when our period comes and we feel the cramping, or when we're growing a baby. And all the rest of the time, we forget about our womb. And it shouldn't be like that, because she's the center of our body, an absolutely amazing organ of creation. And so when we have things like birth control, you might have a coil, you might have an implant, all these things, our womb is amazing as well, a reproductive system based on hormones that send messages like between our brain and our womb to tell her how to function. So when we have, like birth control, it messes up with all of this. And it can mess up big time with some of us, with others, somehow we cope more with it. But I know because I had an IUD, a copper coil once, and I just felt terrible wearing it. I never could take the pill. It messed up with me so much. So in the end, I just had to do natural methods. So the womb healing helps you really go in and balance all of that. So I'm always doing the womb shape. The womb is like a heart as well, if you see the shape of the womb. And it really clears us out of things that we hold on to and any stress that's blocking us, and helps us to relax and calm and just really go into our natural state of being, our natural flow. And you can get a taste of womb healing if you go to my homepage on my website, ohmymamabody.com. Then you can get a completely free guide to trying out self womb healing. So I guide you through the video and a little how-to guide written down, how to do womb healing for yourself. That's about 10 minutes. It's a lovely practice. So if you go along to ohmymamabody.com, or there's a link down in the video description, do try it out, because it's the best thing you can do for yourself if you're feeling like you're kind of not in balance, like you're out of balance, that your cycle isn't how it should be. And that's a really wonderful technique. So, and I'd love to hear from you if you do try it out, because it's yeah, it's just so nice to get back in tune with your body and that natural femininity that we all have. Okay, where are we now? Wow, there's so many questions coming in. This is lovely. Sony, hi. Sharon from Oklahoma, hey. Wow. You're welcome, Sonia. Yes, you're very welcome. All right, let me try and catch up with all of these now. By the way, there is something called Super Chat. I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's a Super Chat. When I'm doing a live, you can go and select the Super Chat, and it'll make your comment pop right up to the top so that you get looked at first. I mean, go and try it out if it's something that you want to do. It will make your comment just fly up to the top. I mean, I'd really appreciate it as well. It's really nice if you do that, because it helps me as well. And so the first time I got the pinching was at 2 DPO. It happened back to back, and then I never felt it again until 9 DPO. But I have been keeping track on the pre-mum app and using strips. Right, that's good that you're using strips. With the ovulation strips, the ovulation strips, they get, the second line gets darker and darker, and then that second line will start getting lighter again. So it's when that line's at its darkest that you're peaking with your LH levels, and that's like very shortly after that your egg is going to be released. So it's a nice way to be able to track everything. And I think with lots of those apps you can take photos as well, can't you? So then you can look back on it and really check for sure. Nomialelu, I hope I said your name right. Is it possible to get periods 6 days after ovulation, or was it implantation? It all depends on, is this normal for you, or is it a one-off? And many ladies ovulate later in their cycles, which means that then their period is quite shortly after. But if it was a one-off for you and you're just feeling completely different this cycle, then it could be a sign that it was something else. If the periods have been normal kind of bleeding, kind of a heavy bleeding, it's less likely that it was implantation, although some women still get a heavy bleed and then get pregnant. I've heard from lots of ladies that have had that. Yeah, sorry, it's a bit of a mixed message, but it's one thing you really need to understand is like the length of the cycle, how you've been feeling. Is it normal for you, or is it something completely different for you this one time? Hey, Tiffany, is it Tiff? Tiff, love my family. 23 weeks and doing good. Baby's kicking. Oh, wonderful. Congratulations to you. How exciting. Sharon, my cycle has been late for 3 days, but I started spotting today. Is there a chance I could be pregnant? Have you taken a test yet at all, Sharon? I'm sure you have, haven't you? It's hard not to when you're 3 days late. Yeah, it's hard to say 100%. It just really depends what happens with that spotting now. If that spotting then gets heavier over the next day, or if it just stays a light spotting. because you can get that light spotting right at the beginning in early pregnancy. So yeah, it's very close call now because you are late and maybe still getting negative tests. The best thing to do is wait a day or two. I told women so often about checking your cervix if you're familiar with your cervical position, and check it out. So your cervix changes throughout your menstrual cycle, and it's such a good thing to get used to with your own body and where your cervix is at. If your cervix is high or low, if it's hard or soft. I've got another video about that, and it is in the description below. It's just a really good sign for you, a very natural sign for you to be really in tune with your body. And when you're ovulating, and normally after you've conceived, your cervix will be softer and higher. Ovulation, your cervix will also be a little bit more open. And then after conceiving, your cervix will normally close and go up high and remain soft. In a nutshell for you. But I do have a video that explains that a lot better and how to check it in your own body. It's definitely worth getting definitely worth getting familiar with if you haven't yet. Okay. Dav Laxman, hi, how many days after intercourse can you check for pregnancy? 10 days or more? Depends if you ovulated. If you've ovulated around that time, then yeah, about 10 days is normally good. Some ladies even get their big fat positive at around 8 DPO. Some don't get theirs until 14 to 16 DPO. I mean, don't go crazy with the tests. I mean, one every day, first thing in the morning is enough. Always check with your first urine in the morning. That's if you've not gone to the toilet during the night. So otherwise you hold on to your pee for about 3-4 hours if possible to make sure it's strong enough, because then the test will be able to detect the hormones better if your urine is stronger. So that's why they say to test first thing in the morning. Okay. Nikki, my period is getting lighter as I'm getting older. Yeah, okay. Getting my progesterone tested every month. Still no pregnancy. Had a miscarriage in January and still trying. Oh, I'm sorry that you miscarried. And progesterone levels as well. I don't know if you know about it, but you can look up foods with natural progesterone. Sorts of beans and things like Brussels sprouts are really amazing because they help your body to produce more progesterone. And the progesterone is what helps your egg to implant, helps your womb lining to grow a bit thicker. And then that helps you with implantation and then for the next early weeks going forward. So something worth looking up about. Okay. Wow. So I'm going to be around for about another 5 minutes. I'll get through as many as I can. Remember that's the ask me option below, or if you want to do a super chat, then go ahead and do a super chat, and then I'll see your comment first. Where did I get to? Oh, your period lasts for 10 days every month, but I start with spotting for the first 3 days. Yeah, I can understand why. But I would start with recording it from the first day, Denise, the very first day that you notice the spotting. And I think the most important thing is to know when you're ovulating, because when you're trying to get pregnant, that's the obviously the key thing that you need to know. And then you'll know how many days it is for your next cycle until you start again. Nadia, when you have an ectopic pregnancy, after you have a surgery, after period, not every month can you get pregnant. Yeah, it depends on how your eggs are released. So normally they say one egg is released from one side that month, the other side the next month, and then the other side, but it's not always the way. Not with all women. Sometimes they get produced more on one side and then every now and then from the other side. It's just really ad hoc. And I know lots of ladies who have had an ectopic pregnancy and they very successfully got pregnant afterwards as well, like ladies in my Facebook group, in the Mama Meets a Midwife group. So keep on believing and it will happen. I'm sorry you had an ectopic pregnancy and had surgery. You can still get pregnant, definitely. Hey Lola, I've been watching your videos. My period is 16 days late, and you've got sensitive nipples and back pain from time to time, a pinchy cramp, but all tests are negative, and at 16 days late as well. Is there anything else going on? This week I got, okay, very FL. I waited until this morning to take another test and it was negative. I have a 42-day cycle. Okay. But that's interesting. Yesterday you got the faint line and today not. And it was a pregnancy test, right? It's hard to know, I would say. If you already had a faint line, what did you take it like first thing in the morning when your urine was the strongest? And I wouldn't take one every day now. I would really wait like 3 to 4 more days and see if you get another line. Otherwise, it's probably not pregnancy. After that length of time, you should be getting a second line. But let us know how you get on, Lola, okay? And Sharon hasn't taken a pregnancy test yet. Okay. Then Sharon, let us know what happens over the next days. Okay. My husband is in another city and we're intimate every weekend, and today is my ovulation day. Could I be pregnant if you were together at the weekend and today's Tuesday? Yes, because the sperm lives up to 5 days inside of you. Could still be there in you. There's always a chance. So, fingers crossed, as we say here in my culture. I don't know what you say, but that's like wishing you all the very best, but it does work. I hope so. Okay. All right. Going to answer the last couple of ones. How effective is OPK? Yeah, if you're using the strips, like it's good to do like one in the morning, one in the evening, and then you can see if it's how it's getting darker, and when it's getting it to its darkest, and then when it's a really dark line, that second line, then start the baby dancing, and hopefully you will catch your fertile window. Maca root powder, I can't answer that one. I don't know anything about maca root powder, Chelsea. Shaheen. Shaheen, yeah, okay, we're talking about Clomid, I think, aren't you? Yeah, lots of women use it. I never used it in my own fertility journey. Again, like go and try out my self-womb healing guide. It's on the homepage of my website, ohmymamabody.com. Look to the holistic side and not just the medical side, because you need to balance the two. You know, taking pills won't always solve the problem if you're not in a very good energetic space, or your womb is not in that energetic space. It's good to have a balance. Look into the holistic side as well. Okay, help your womb, support your womb. Okay, right, Brianna, you're my last one today. Okay, and anyone else whose question hasn't been answered, just come and find me on the Ask Me, and hopefully you will hear back from me in the next day or two. Brianna, I woke up feeling weird a week ago and randomly threw up. Since then, I've been having intense symptoms of either PMS or pregnancy. Praying for pregnancy, and I'm 16 days past ovulation. So, period's coming in a couple of days. Yeah, I do have a video about PMS versus pregnancy. For me, it was very different, the types of feelings in my body. So, if you felt any cramping, when I had pregnancy cramping, it's a pulley, stretchy feeling, and PMS cramping is very heavy and dull and downwards. And like this, if you get soreness in your breasts before your period comes normally, again, that soreness is really like heavy. And pregnancy soreness, it's not a soreness, it's more like a hardness, a fullness. It's just a really different sensation. So I hope that works for you for a couple of suggestions, but do have a look at my video about that. Your cervix is soft as well. Okay, you've got a tilted uterus. That's good that you can feel your cervix, that it's still soft. I don't know about a tilted uterus because I don't have one myself, so I don't know how you kind of reach it. But that's fine. It's fine that you're checking it. So that's a good sign. So I really do hope that it's your positive month, and wishing you all the best. So thank you everybody for being here and watching. I really appreciate all of you, and wishing you all the very, very best on your journeys. And like I said, if you've got questions, if you need to find out more information, anything, then go down in the video description here and have a chat with me there. And I really hope we can help you further. Bye for now, everybody.